The most exciting AI story of the year hasn't come out of the usual tech giants. Not OpenAI, not Google. Instead, it's from a small but ambitious startup in Singapore. They've just revealed a new AI system called HRM, and it's got the AI world buzzing. Because it doesn't just process information, it thinks differently. This is not the typical smaller beats bigger gimmick. HRM isn't huge, but it isn't trying to be. It's not built on oceans of data. In fact, it's only got 27 million parameters, less than a quarter of GPT-1's size. Yet somehow, it's outperforming models hundreds of millions or even billions of parameters larger. The secret is that it's built on a completely different architecture, one inspired by the human brain's layered decision-making. Here's what that means. Most modern AI models like ChatGPT use what's called chain of thought reasoning. They break problems into steps and work through them in sequence. But if a single step goes wrong, the whole solution can collapse. HRM skips that fragile chain. Instead, it loops, thinking in cycles, constantly refining its own reasoning before delivering a final answer. It does this using two distinct components that talk to each other. First, there's the strategic planner, which maps out the overall approach to a problem. Then there's the rapid worker, which executes the plan. The planner analyzes results, updates the strategy, and the cycle repeats until the system is confident it's found the answer. Think of a chess grandmaster deciding on a match strategy, paired with an assistant who instantly executes each move, back and forth until victory. The results have been extraordinary. On reasoning benchmarks, HRM's scores top those of well-known AI systems from industry leaders. In tough Sudoku puzzles at the hardest levels, it solved over half, while some of the biggest names in AI couldn't solve a single one. In giant 30 by 30 maze challenges, HRM found optimal paths nearly 75% of the time, again far ahead of the competition. Even more surprising is how efficiently it learns. It needs just 1,000 examples for each task, training in as little as 2 GPU hours. That's unheard of in a field where models often require weeks of training and massive computing power. But speed and size aren't the only story here. Unlike traditional transformers, which process the same number of steps for every task, whether it's simple or complex, HRM adjusts dynamically. If the problem is easy, it loops only a few times. If it's harder, it spends more cycles thinking it through. This flexibility makes it much closer to human problem solving than current transformer models. And it avoids some heavy technical limitations, like the resource-intensive deep backpropagation through time. Because it requires so little memory and compute, HRM can run on a laptop, inside a robot, or on other small devices. The team behind it is already testing it in real-world applications, from diagnosing rare diseases to predicting seasonal climate patterns, with reported accuracy rates as high as 97%. What's even more refreshing is that HRM is open source. Anyone can download the code, train their own version, and see how it works. In a landscape where many breakthroughs are locked behind corporate walls, that kind of transparency is rare. Yes, HRM has a narrow focus right now. It's built for reasoning, not for casual conversation or creative writing. But as a proof of concept, it's a powerful hint at where AI could be heading, away from endlessly scaling up transformers and toward entirely new architectures that think more flexibly, train faster, and run on everyday hardware. And HRM isn't alone. Other experimental designs are being explored, from continuous thought machines to models that store weights in a single bit. But unlike most experiments, HRM is already delivering results that challenge our assumptions about what's possible. If its trajectory continues, we might be looking at the beginning of an era where advanced AI doesn't just live in vast data centers, but right on your desktop, your car, or even in your pocket. Not just searching for answers, but reasoning its way to them, the way you and I would.